I've said this on numerous occasions, and I will simply repeat it again. And that is a lot of the blessings or the curses that we have seen as of late in the United States of America has been directly tied to how they treated Israel. Now, the reality of it is when you look at the previous president and all of the wonderful things that was going on in our country, especially as it related to economy and a lot of other things, that was directly tied to the fact that Israel was treated well, as God intended Israel to be treated. And the reality of it is the United States of America's decline that we have been seeing at a rapid rate has been directly tied to not only the bad decisions that this tyrannical regime continues to make, but it is tied to the fact that they are kicking Israel right in the rear while embracing Iran. And the Bible tells us that whoever curses Israel is going to get cursed, and whoever blesses Israel is going to get blessed. And I'm looking at a title here that is yet again another effect of the Pandora's box that we opened when this crazy leader of our regime here in the United States of America chose to agree to this Iran nuclear garbage, right? And that's what it is. The JCPOA is a pile of garbage, and anything that tends to want to emulate it is also garbage. Now, I'm looking at this article, and this article is about Raisi, who is, of course, the president of Iran, actually saying that he's not going to return to the nuke deal. Yes, the one that this crazy United States president has already agreed to, if the IAEA probe continues. Now, let me read this to you. Very interesting article. It says Iran's president warned Monday that any roadmap to restore Tehran's tattered nuclear deal with world powers must see international inspectors end their probe of man-made uranium particles found at undeclared sites in the country. Now, in a new rare news conference, making his very first one that he's done in the whole year, Abraham Raisi also issued threats against Israel and tried to sound upbeat as Iran's economy and rial currency have cratered under the weight of international sanctions. Now, I want you to follow this because this is very interesting. Let me read the next two sentences to you. It says, Raisi said, if Israel decides to carry out its threats to destroy Iran's nuclear program, and here's the quote, we'll see if anything from the Zionist regime will remain or not. That's a terrible threat. Now, Yair Lapid, who is the current Israeli prime minister, actually warned on Sunday, this is last week, he says, if an accord is signed, we won't be obligated by it. We are not a party to it, and it won't limit our activities. The IDF and the Mossad have been instructed by us to prepare themselves for any scenario. So this is Israel saying, we don't care what agreement you've made, United States and other nations. We as a nation are going to defend ourselves. And you know what? Good for you, Lapid. That's the right statement to make. But let me just say this before I end my rant. God is going to protect Israel, okay? Because we know that there will come a point in time where Israel will be helplessly attacked by Russia and all kinds of nations with them, and nobody is going to really defend them. There will be a few people that will speak up, but God will be the one that will defend them, and God will intervene and keep them from being destroyed. So if you want to come against Israel, that's probably a bad idea, because the reality of it is you're not going to win. The reality of it is Israel is there to stay, and nobody's going to pluck them out of their land. If you don't believe me, read the book of Amos, folks. All right, end of rant. Time to look to the Lord. Let's do the right thing. Let's speak up for Israel. Let's stand up for Israel. And let's remember that Jesus is coming soon. So let's get to it, folks.